So, because we're going to be spending a bit of time with each other over the next few days, would you mind if I shared a little bit about who I am? Would that be okay? Thank you. Well, I think you've noticed I'm not from here, I'm from Australia. And I'm married, I've been married for 24 years and I have 2 teenage children. One is up here, one is down here. And 33 years ago, I became a hairdresser. Has anyone ever been to a hairdresser before? Ah, good. Okay. When I was 21, I was already an award-winning stylist. And I thought I knew everything. Has anyone ever felt like that they know everything? Yeah, so I went out and I opened up my first business, my first studio at the age of 21. And it was going pretty good. It was going pretty good. Fortunately, I grew up in a house of servants. My father is a minister, and he still is today. So from a very young age, I was taught that to be of help to other people was a normal thing to do. Does that make sense? Thank you. Unfortunately, I didn't have anyone that could actually give me business skills. I just went into it blind. Has anyone ever gone into a business blind? Not knowing what they're doing. I had no idea about business. So, one day I turned up at my studio, which was a lot of fun every day, but there was a sign on the window. And I didn't put that sign on the window. And the sign said, "Come to our new salon, 150 metres around the corner." I haven't opened up a new salon. What's going on? And I ran around the corner, and I was met at the front door, not by one of my staff, but by all 4 of my staff. Has anyone ever been burnt in business before? Yeah. Thank you. I was angry, as you can imagine. I couldn't believe it. I had no idea this was going on. I was angry. I was in shock. And I started blaming everybody. Has anyone ever been like that and blamed people before for other things? No. Thank you. But finally I realised that it was actually my fault. I realised that it was my fault. I had got myself into the situation where they had opened up their shop 150 metres from my shop. They took all the clients over there. So, I was ashamed. And I was actually very humbled by the experience. And one of the great things is that I created a program after that from my experience. I created a program where I was teaching other salon owners how to set up systems in their businesses. Systems are great, aren't they? Yes? Yes. Thank you. And the systems, the main systems that I taught them to do were to do things and to create an environment that was fun, that was enjoyable, highly profitable. But the most important thing that we did was we talked, and I taught them about team. Because I'd lost my team over there. Does that make sense? And business was good. Business was really good. So then, after a while, remember how Rob was talking about the little extra businesses, passive income. I thought I could do that. I opened up 2 new salons and I opened up a cafe. Has anyone got a cafe in the room here? A restaurant or a cafe? Again, I had no idea. Things were going okay, but they weren't great. But then I went to something called Millionaire Mind Intensive. Has anyone ever heard of Millionaire Mind Intensive? This was in 2011. I was sitting exactly where you are. And I found out on that day that I wasn't running my money blueprint. I was running my father's minister's blueprint. That whenever I would actually earn money or have some success, I would sabotage it to actually come back down to a level that I was comfortable with. Has anyone ever experienced something like that? So, from the lessons that I've learned from MMI and the other programs that were shared through the same scenario, the same company, I now am very, very glad to say that I have a personal portfolio, a property portfolio of over $2.5 million in Australia. Is that great? Thank you. I now have only one seller, which is a business that I know, with 5 staff in it, and they're running it, so I can be here to be able to share with you the things that I love, which is to actually give you the ability to be the best that you can be. Is that great? Thank you. So, I'm here to support you on your journey, so you can be the best that you can be. So how many of you are feeling great to be here this weekend? Thank you. I'm going to ask again, how many of you are feeling great to be here this weekend? Awesome. What I'd like you to do is to turn to somebody, give them a high five and say, you have a millionaire mind! Thank you.
Stay here for a moment.
Okay.
So, before I let David go, I want to acknowledge something, because you're not aware of this, but I'm going to let you know this. There's a lot of people who say, and I'll wait till I have everybody's attention. Thank you. There's a lot of people who say they want to do what I do, to teach. And I'll let you know, one of the greatest things that you're going to be able to do to help people is to teach them. To show them whatever your skill set is. To teach them through what you're doing with this company. To be able to help people. Raise your hand if you might agree with that, yes? Yes. And there's a lot of people who say they want to do it. And remember I said this morning, if I can do it, you can do it. But the question is, will you? And that separates people really quickly from those who are talkers. And I'm still getting a lot of echo, so if we can bring my mic down a bit. There's a lot of people who say they want to do stuff, but there's very few that will actually take the action to do what needs to be done to be successful. And this is my first time. I've had David as a student for a couple of years over a couple programs. This is the first time I've had him working with me as an assistant trainer. And the reason he is here is because he's decided this is what he wants to do. And he's a person who's willing to do whatever it takes to get there. And he isn't being paid to be here. In fact, none of his costs are being paid. He flew here from Australia, paying all his own way, to do this as part of his way of learning to do what I do. And that says so much because he's a person of action. Give him a great big round of applause, please. So thank you, David, for being here. I've had the opportunity to watch his growth and see his heart and how he wants to help people out. And so thank you for doing whatever it takes to be here, because you are going to change a lot of people's lives. Yeah, give him another round of applause. So throughout the weekend, he will be here to